All right, guys. I think we are live. Hello, hello. Welcome, everybody. Happy Monday, you guys. Welcome to session 6. This is Turn Fear into Faith, and we have a special guest speaker with us today. Her name is Nikki VanTimmeren, and I am super excited for you guys to be able to hear from her this afternoon. So some of you might be sitting here thinking, turn fear into faith. Like, what's the content going to be like today? We're going to be talking everything overcoming objections. Okay. So before we get started, I want to let you guys know that we are going to be doing a giveaway again today. So we'll be picking a winner at 9 p.m. Eastern time. And the gift will be a Chase Your Brave tote. So how cool is that? So make sure if you are hopping on right now, or if you're catching the replay, you want to hashtag faith over fear for that first entry. Every single time you comment and interact, you're going to get an entry. If you tag somebody in the comments, you're going to get 2 entries. If you hit the share button and share this video right now, you're going to get 5 entries. And you're going to want to make sure you stay on till the very, very end, because we're going to be giving you guys a call to action. If you take action today on the content that we're giving you, we want you to come back to this and comment done so we can see all the movers and shakers out there. And you're going to get an extra 3 entries for that as well. If you're just joining us for the first time, this is session 6. So you're going to want to make sure you go back to last week and watch session 1 through 5, because every day we kind of build on each other and build through the content. Okay. So before we get started, let me introduce myself. My name is Ashley Walmer, and I'm a founding circle member with Emrys International. I am super excited to be here with you guys today. I got started in this industry when I was 19 years old. So I'm 36 now, so you can do the math. I've had some I would say not failures, but some really bad experiences, and some not so great, and some really, really good, you guys. But I love this industry because when I was a stay-at-home mom, we needed a little bit of extra income. Okay. I wanted to be able to stay home with my son and provide him with a mom who was always there and somebody who was always present. And then I went through a divorce, unfortunately, and things kind of got shaken up. And I was so thankful to be able to have this industry. And even just in today with what's happening with Rona, it's crazy to me that being an esthetician, I would be out of a job, you guys. I would be at home not providing for my family. And I'm so excited or so thankful that I said yes to something that I didn't even know I was going to need in this day and age. And so today we're going to be talking through everything overcoming objections. When you're having conversations with people about this industry, about the products, things are going to come up. But I want to start the week, because this is the Faith Over Fear Summit, just giving you guys a little bit of just some inspiration. A couple of days ago, I was doing my devotional and something hit me really, really hard. I read the words, complain and remain, or praise and be raised. And it just hit me, because how many times have you guys, I know for me, like gut check moment, I've complained a lot during this whole situation, whether it's been, oh my gosh, my kids are home, or we can't go to, on vacation, or we can't do this, or we can't see our friends. There's been so many little instances where I've, had a complaining heart and a complaining word. And it does kind of reflect what's in your heart, you guys. And if you're complaining and staying in that state, you're going to remain in that state. But if you can have a grateful heart, if you can look around and look for those things in your life that you can be thankful for and you can be grateful for, and actively choose that, you guys are going to raise yourself out of that situation that you're in. So one of my just, not call to action, but challenges for every single one of you guys that is on here today, that is going to be on here this week, is actively choose gratitude and actively choose faith this week. I think sometimes we think of those words, gratitude and faith, as just these, things that are around you that you're supposed to feel, but it's actually action, you guys. You can choose to have gratitude. You can choose to believe and have that faith in something else. So I want to know, like, what are you guys grateful for right now? What are you grateful for today? Start throwing it in the chat. Let's blow up Facebook with gratitude today. Write it down. That's something I do every single morning is, you have good days and bad days, right? We're all human. Nobody's perfect, but we get to choose to have a grateful heart. We get to choose what we're looking at that day. And here's the crazy thing. You guys can allow faith and fear to move you, okay? The kind of fear that you can control. What do I mean by that? If you look at the word fear, F-E-A-R, right? What does that mean? What does that word stand for? And a lot of times when people are practicing fear, they're forgetting everything and running. They're scared, right? That's not the kind of fear that can move you. That's the kind of fear that can hold you back and keep you stuck. But I've also seen fear stand for face everything and rise. Okay. And that's what I want you guys to do. I want you to, if you're starting to feel that, take that thought captive and say, how can I look for gratitude in my life right now? And how can I use this circumstance, this little fear that's in my mind, instead of running from this and being scared, I'm going to use this little thought that I'm taking captive and I'm going to face it and I'm going to choose gratitude and I'm going to actively choose faith in this situation and I'm going to rise because of it. I'm not going to complain and remain. I'm going to praise and have those praise hands emojis, right? And be raised through this situation. Okay. So I just kind of wanted to give you that word today as we are starting this week off with the Faith Over Fear Summit. So let's get into our content for today and overcoming objections. You guys, I think you probably heard me say last week, I was talking about making the ask and follow up it's my favorite part. It's my favorite income producing activity. Why? Because I get to overcome objections. I feel like this is a place where you guys can really connect with people. It's a place where you get to be real and be relatable with people and have those really good heart conversations where you're connecting with that individual. Very few people are going to just see a post and go to your website and join, or very few people when you're having conversations with them and you say, so do you want to do this with me? They're going to be like, yep. That doesn't happen very often. Like, I feel like I've had it happen one time and that's it. So if you can just get comfortable with knowing that those objections are coming, right? If you can just tell yourself the second that you're getting ready to pick up the phone and call somebody or send a text message to your best friend that, you're telling about this business, if you can just know that the second after you send, that they're gonna have objections. They're gonna think it's weird, it's funny. When you're starting to talk to them about maybe looking at the business and joining your team, they're gonna start thinking, I'm too busy for this. Actually, that was right away when I called Nikki. I already knew that she was going to tell me she's too busy. She's working. She's tried this before. She doesn't want to do it again. I knew that those objections were coming and I got really comfortable with the fact and excited that we were going to get to have a real heart conversation about why I wanted her on my team, why I thought she was going to be incredible at this business, what she brought to the table, what this could do for her family, right? I was excited about her giving me those objections so we could have that real conversation. And one tip that has completely changed my business when it comes to conversations is the quote, and I want you guys to write this down: feel, felt, found. Okay. If you're getting stuck in somebody giving you an objection or something, if you can remember feel, felt, found, you can navigate yourself through that conversation. So if Nikki were to say to me, you know what, Ash, I'm so busy. I'm a cheer coach and I work a full-time job. I just don't think I could take on one more thing. I'm going to say to her, you know what, Nikki, I totally hear you. I feel that I totally feel what you're saying. I feel, that you're busy. I get that. I hear what you're saying. But I've just totally did the feel, felt, found. So I totally hear what you're saying. I felt that same way too. Okay. So you're relating. I felt that way when I joined the business, things were crazy. Mike was working 80 hours a week. We had 3 kids in baseball. It was absolutely nuts. I totally get it. I've been there too. I hear what you're But what I found is that you can fit this business into the nooks and crannies of your life, right? Like I'm reaching out to you because I know you're so busy and I know how productive you are, and you can take 15 minutes at your lunch hour. And what I found is that I don't have to, run around with my head cut off, that busy people get stuff done, right? And so Nikki's going to be able to talk through with you guys a lot more of what her tips are. But feel, felt, found is the one thing where if you're feeling stuck in a conversation, you don't know how to navigate yourself through that, feel, felt, found. Okay. So let's talk about really facing that fear, because I think a lot of times this is where people, when they get are they going to say no, or they're coming to you and they're giving you some sort of objection, it's so much easier to be like, okay, thanks, sorry for bugging you, and you're scared, right? You feel that fear. And instead of having confidence and knowing how to navigate that conversation, you just kind of let it go and you accept the no, and you don't even get into the heart of what their fear is or what would hold them back. And the person that I knew would be incredible with giving you guys this content and her tips and tricks is Nikki. She is absolutely incredible at walking people through this conversation, overcoming their objections, listening to them, connecting with them, and helping them through this. So I would like to bring on our guest speaker today, Nikki VanTimmeren. First of all, before you give us all of your tips and tricks, will you first just tell us a little bit about yourself? Who are you? Where do you live? Give us all the goods.
You betcha. So my name is Nikki VanTimmeren. I am in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Have been here my whole life. I have 3 little ones that are here with us. One that looks down over us. I am married. As Ashley said, I'm a cheer coach. I'm also an office manager for an OBGYN office. And so I'm also a cheer official as well. So I do get to judge the competitions, which is a lot of fun. And I, like Ashley, got into network marketing and direct sales quite a few years ago. I think I was 20 when I got into my first one. And I've been with a few companies, you guys. It's no secret. I don't hide that from anyone. There's lots of things that I like. And, I used to say I was kind of a kidnapper with some of those companies. I'd like to get my hands on a deal. And even though that's what I thought I was doing with a lot of the companies, I then in turn ended up selling a lot of those and doing pretty well with it. So I do have a passion for side hustles and for things like that. It's kind of, a joke within my family and friends. What's Nikki, what's she up to? What's she got her hands on? So been doing this for a while. Absolutely love it. But like Ashley said, I wasn't looking for anything else, you guys. I was done with that. As our kids get older and they're in all sorts of sports and they've got lots of things going on with school, it just became a lot harder. It was definitely more time consuming. And I realized that, I needed to put my family first. And so I thought I was done. There was, I had a kind of a strain of things I did. And there was not a lot of passion there anymore with the products that I was selling and the company that I was with. And so I decided I was going to step away and was not going to pursue anything else, or so I thought. And then I heard from Ashley, and we talked a bit about Emrys and what that kind of looked like. And like she said to you guys, she just kind of said, this is why I want you to do this. This is why you're the person I'm reaching out to. And when somebody believes in you that much, it's awfully hard to tell them no. It truly is. Sometimes people can see something inside you that you don't even see in yourself. So I haven't looked back ever since then. It's been lots of fun. Yes, it does mean my schedule looks a little different than what it did. And it's okay. Now I plan my schedule out and I've got everything kind of scheduled to a T. And I talked a little bit about, I do lots of calendar blocking to make sure that I can fit everything in, but it works for me. It works for my family, and it's been a huge blessing. So, but like Ashley mentioned, that all came about because of a conversation where she did have to overcome some objections. So what I want to talk to you guys a little bit about today is, first of all, I'm going to do this training, and I want you guys to know, I'm not laying claim to any of this. Okay. I've been with lots of companies. I've read lots of books. I've paid for trainings. I've listened to podcasts. I've had incredible upline that has taught me over the years. So I'm not laying claim to any of this. All of this is just a compilation of little things I've picked up here and there. So this information is out there, you guys. This is not something, I'm not going to teach you anything that you probably haven't already heard. I'm just hoping I can maybe put a different spin on it so that it connects with you. So what I kind of realized was that, and yes, this video or this training is entitled Overcoming Objections. Because that's what people know it as, right? I mean, in the network marketing industry, we all know it as overcoming objections. So of course, we're going to title this training Overcoming Objections. But I felt like, for some reason within my heart, that just didn't settle. I felt like, I don't know, like I was trying to convince them of something that maybe they weren't okay with, right? Like I'm overcoming these objections, but there's reasons that they're objecting to me. So am I doing, am I doing service by trying to, push them? And so instead of looking at it as overcoming an objection, I started looking at it as searching for a solution. A lot of people do have objections, but it's not necessarily because, people are just born to say no. Okay. I know that sounds kind of weird, but think about when we're walking through the mall. I'm guilty of, you've got your little vendors that are in the mall. And maybe it's somebody that has hair products, or maybe it's somebody that has, hand creams or whatever it is. But when I'm walking through the mall, I do everything I can to avoid those people, right? Like I'm going to say no. I know I'm going to say no. I'm walking around them to avoid them. Same thing, you go into a store. Somebody asks you when you walk in the store, hey, is there something I can help you with? Nope, all set. Thank you. Just looking, those things, we instinctively say no to things. It's just in our nature. It's human nature. And so, I had to look at it as I'm searching for a solution for this person. So I'm not necessarily overcoming this objection that they have. I'm just trying to find a solution and see how I can fit this in their life. And so I don't know if you guys heard, how many of you heard of Matthew speaking last night, but Matthew did a great job in talking about how you have to be thinking about that other person first. You need to make sure that you're providing them with a solution that works for them. You can't think about yourself. You've got to think about that person first and foremost. And that plays right into overcoming objections. Matthew and I are a lot alike in the fact that we both really think, strongly about you've got to put that person first, their needs first. And so, overcoming objections or finding solutions, definitely goes hand in hand with that. We've got to look for a solution that works for that person. So will you guys just go ahead and throw some objections in the chat? So I can't see a lot of what you guys are posting right now, so bear with me, but I want to know, what are some objections you've heard? Whether you're with Emrys, whether you're with a different company, I just want to know what objections are common objections for you. So, oh, not enough time. Am I frozen? By the way, Ash, you were frozen there for a minute, so I want to make sure we're good.
Hope
I'm good. Okay. So yeah, just throw those in the chat. But I hear, not enough money, not enough time, maybe not good at those businesses, don't believe in those businesses. I already make good money. I'm not a salesperson. I don't want to annoy my friends, things like that. I hear a lot of those objections very often. So you guys go ahead and throw in the chat some of the things that you hear. But as we go through those, and as you guys read the ones on Facebook, the ones that I just read here, what I think you're going to find is that there's really only ever two real objections. So if you break all of those down, right, there's only really two things that are actual real objections. Number one, it's that they don't believe in themselves, right? A lack of belief in themselves. And number two would be a lack of belief in network marketing or in this industry. Right. So I want you to write those two things down, and we can almost categorize it's going to fall into one, the other, or maybe both. Right. But, they don't have enough money. Well, that's a lack of, belief in themselves. Like, we know that we can find a way to help them get that money. Maybe it's, I don't have enough time. Again, maybe that's a lack of belief in themselves, and they don't think that they can figure out how to block the time. They don't think that they can figure out how to make it work in their life. I'm not good at those businesses. That could be both, maybe, right? So maybe that's a lack of belief in themselves, but also maybe in the business too, right? They kind of have this idea of what our business is, and maybe they're just not really informed, and so they don't know. So, but I think really that's what it is. It's either a limited belief in themselves, or in network marketing, or in both. And so we kind of have to we've got to work through that, right? And working through that partially is about building a rapport, you guys. So it's so important to have conversations with people. Like I think 90% of the time, the reason somebody can't overcome an objection is because they don't ask that pointed question, right? So they hear no thank you, or they hear not right now. And immediately that person goes, okay, I'm so sorry. You know, kind of Ashley mentioned that. It's kind of like, oh, didn't mean to bother you, or I'm so sorry, thanks for your time, where we could totally flip that, you guys. Like, we can flip that so fast by just asking one question, and continuing the conversation. So something that I say, and I'm going to read this exactly out of a message that I had sent, but something that I have said many times is, I totally, respect your decision. Since this is a new company and I'm learning, I'm just wondering if you can tell me what it is that might be turning you off. Is it something about the company? Is it maybe something I said? To get them to talk to you. Right now, you have that option to start overcoming an objection. So we need to build a rapport with this person. So we need to kind of find out what it is that they're saying no to, and we need to ask questions. So the way that we do this, you guys can write this down, but it's a 3-step process. Number 1 is relate. Number 2 is tell stories. Number 3 is ask questions. And this, if you follow Eric Worre at all, this is something that I learned from one of his trainings, but it really works, you guys. So like Ashley was saying, the feel, felt, found, that's relating to them. Okay, so we're gonna go through that first. So relate. We need to relate to them. And what I want to do, we're going to talk about money, just because money seems to be the biggest one that people don't really know how to overcome. So I'm going to talk about that a little bit today. But so you want to relate to them. And for me, this was really easy, because at the time, even though when Ashley introduced Emirates to me, I did have the money to get started, it wasn't allotted for that. We were going on a vacation. We were taking, my sister was getting married, and it was not allotted for that. Like, we had saved up lots of money, and I didn't want to spend $500 of that money that our family had earned to go do this, this great vacation, and take it kind of selfishly to do something of my own. So what I would then say to them is, I totally understand, who really has whatever the amount of money is. So, in this example, it was $500. So I totally understand who really has $500 just sitting around. Honestly, I felt the same way. Monthly bills add up. Kids' expenses are growing. Money's always going out, and just doesn't seem to be coming in that quickly. I'm just like you. I didn't think I had the money either. So it's, not using those exact words, those feel, felt, found, but you're telling them the exact same thing. I get where you were. I felt like you did. What I found was, and kind of talk them through that solution. Then you need to tell stories. So, what you, just like I just, said to you guys, finally, I took a look at where I was spending. And, I decided that I had to change something. If I didn't, I was never going to have enough money for something like this. I decided if I was going to make it work. So, you know what? I made some sacrifices. I had to, not do a couple of things that I wanted to do originally. And what I know about you is that when you want something to work, you're going to make it work. The other thing I realized was that, I could take a little money right now, and invest it, and then turn it into something really big. I just needed that little bit to kind of front me and get me through the first couple of weeks. And then I was going to be able to earn that back and more. So now they're imagining, okay, maybe I could be like this person. Maybe I could be like this girl. She was able to do it. They're kind of, they're relating to you. They're relating to your story. So then what you need to do is ask them the question. So would you? So if I could show you a way to do this that would work for you, a way that wouldn't break the bank, but actually add to your cash flow. If I could show you how to do all this and fit it into your busy lifestyle, would you be willing to talk more? And then you've opened the door to, let's have this conversation. Okay. So did you overcome their objection, or did you find a solution right there? Not necessarily, but what you did do was you opened the door. You now are having a conversation, and they're understanding where you're coming from. So I think it's just really important to know that people have a story to tell, and you need to let them tell it, right? So, and again, there's so many objections out there, you guys, but we can go through every single one of them like this. And that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to just ask them questions. You're trying to tell stories. You're trying to relate, so that you can connect with this person, and so that they feel like you've heard them. A lot of people, let's kind of flip it for a second and go into Maybe it's a network marketing, like a disbelief in network marketing. That person probably has a story to tell, right? There's probably a reason that they are not interested in what you have to offer. And it likely has nothing to do with your company. So whether that's Emrys or not, it's very likely that their no has to do 100% with their past and nothing to do with you. So you need to hear their story. And maybe you have a story to tell them. Like for me, for example, I do have stories. I don't go out and tell people, oh yeah, this company did me wrong. And, I don't go out there and approach it like that. But if I have somebody that's feeling a little skittish and they're not sure they want to get back into this, you better believe I'm going to let them know I've been there before. I feel what you're feeling right now. And, this is kind of how we can, work through it. But you need to ask the question. You need to hear their story. A lot of times, you're able to ask, they'll kind of take you through this whole journey of why things didn't work for them. And the answer is not that network marketing didn't work for them. It's likely that their upline maybe didn't work for them. They didn't agree with them or didn't have the support that they needed. Maybe the corporate leadership wasn't there. Maybe the products were not what they needed. Maybe it was just the company in general, but a lot of times it's not network marketing, right? Like a lot of people will say that to you. No, I'm not getting into one of those things again. No, I don't want to get back into network marketing or direct sales. It's all about the company. It's all about the leadership. And it's not so much about network marketing is kind of what we find, but it takes a conversation in order to get to that point. So hopefully this stuff is making sense to you guys. That's a lot to cram into just a little bit. So I do have definitely, more steps I can give you guys, and we can definitely go through some conversations and things like that. I have no problem with that. If you have questions, please go ahead and shoot them over to me. Our door, it's always open. So go ahead and shoot them over. I'm happy to help you guys with that. Like I said, I know it's a lot to cram into a little bit. So hopefully it made sense. I just kind of tried to truncate everything down. So thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. I know Ashley's got some action steps for you guys, but thank you for being on today. And yeah, have a great afternoon.
Thank you so much, Nikki. You guys give her so much love in the chat. She just added so much value and content to all of you. I know for me, I wish I was writing it down, but I'm glad I can text her afterwards, be like, wait, what were those 3 things again? Because those are go-to things, you guys. Remember, when you're in those conversations with people, if you're feeling like a no is coming or you feel like that objection is coming, remember, feel, felt, found. Remember, relate, ask questions, tell stories. What was it? Relate, tell stories, ask questions. I think those were Nikki's 3. And it's just going to help you navigate that conversation. If you're new and you're really feeling stuck, screenshot it, send it to somebody in your upline, let them help you, because a lot of times we're not emotionally attached to your people, and we can give you guys some of that third party just advice of, if this was my friend, this is what I would say. And it might help you gain some confidence while you're working through that, you guys. And it's funny when Nikki was talking about that last point about how a lot of times it's not network marketing. The one thing that I was sitting there thinking is a lot of time it has nothing to even do with the previous company. Sometimes it was about their lack of effort, right? I know when I look back at my own experience, the first company that I was in, I can't blame anybody but myself. Yeah, sure, I didn't know what I was doing, and I could have blamed an upline that, they didn't really help me. But I was 19. I wasn't prioritizing a business. I was out having fun and doing what 19-year-olds were doing. And it was my lack of effort and things like that. And one thing I like to say, you guys, to people that are coming to me from other companies, or if they ever say, I tried that before and it didn't just really work for me, guess what? You haven't done it with me, and you haven't done it with this company and this team. And so that's something where that can get you back in a conversation with that person. But don't be scared, you guys. Don't be scared of the no. Don't be scared that the objection is coming. Get comfortable with the fact that it is. If you go out to a restaurant, which none of us really are doing right now, I don't think that there's a state even open that has a restaurant that we can go to. But remember, there is a waitress that comes and takes your order. And after you have your food, she asks you if you want refills constantly, right? And when you say, no, thanks, I'm good, what does she do? She doesn't cry and sit there at the table and bawl because you don't want a refill of your water. She goes on to the next table and asks them the same question. You guys, this is a sorting game. and look at it like I get to connect with people. I get to relate to people. I get to share my story and see if it would be a good fit for them. And I get to have real conversations with real human beings, because guess what? When you can overcome that objection, and like Nikki said, talk through, what their fears are. I'm so thankful and blessed that people have done that for me, because I really did want to do this business. I just didn't believe that I could. Right? I had met other people that had had success in this industry, but I didn't believe that I could do a business like this. And I'm so thankful that I've had, mentors and people in my past that have believed in me before I could, and took the time to hear me out and ask questions and tell me stories, instead of just say, okay, sorry for bugging you, because this industry has completely blessed our family and changed our life for forever. So I want you guys today to choose faith and face the fear and rise in whatever situation that looks like. But your call to action for today is, I want you to go find three people that you've talked to in the past about the business, the products, the company that you're in, that have told you no, and see if they gave you some sort of objection that you could have worked through. Okay. Or maybe they just told you no and you didn't extend the conversation, you just kind of got out of it. I want you to find three, and I want you to kind of just self-reflect and look back at that. Use some of the tips and tricks that Nikki and I just gave you today, and figure out, how could I have talked to them? How could I have asked them questions? What could I have done differently? All right. And then your brave action is, let's go message them. Let's start the conversation again. Know that their objection's going to come, but you're okay. You're going to face that fear and you're going to rise through it and use the tips and tricks that we just gave you guys. So I hope all of you have an incredible rest of your day, Monday. Tomorrow, session 7 is going to be with Aaron Austin, and we are going to be talking all things customers. Okay. So that will be one that you guys won't want to miss out on. I hope that you guys, like I said, have an incredible rest of your day, and that it starts the rest of your week off really, really good. And we will see you guys back here tomorrow. Thank you again, Nikki. I love you to death. You add so much value and content every time that you speak. And all right, guys, bye. See you later.